I'm the Queen of England. I was born in 1533 and I died in 1603.
Okay, so I'm Charles III of Spain. I was born on January 20th, 1716 and died on December 14th, 1788. I was also Duke of Parma and Sicily.
I'm Peter the Great, or Peter the First, or Peter Alexievich of Russia. I was born in 1672 and I died in 1725.
Hello, my name is Maria Teresa and I was born on May 13th, 1717 and I died on November 29th in 1780.
I'm Louis XIV of France, born on 5th of September 1638 and died in the 1st of September 1715.
Hello, I'm Gustav III of Sweden. I was born on the 24th of January 1746 in Stockholm, and I was assassinated on the 29th of March 1792 at the Stockholm Palace.
I'm Friedrich the Great, or Friedrich II. I was born in 1712 and died in 1768.
I'm Catherine.
86.
I'm Catherine II, also known as Catherine the Great. I was born on December the 16th, 1485, and I ruled for 34 years, and I died on the 1796 mid-November.
Thank you, everybody. And we move to our very first round. I hope you're ready. We'll start with we'll start with Elizabeth. And in our first round, please just remind everybody, new point every round, very important. And at the end, you'll get an opportunity to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
I was a great absolute monarch because I made a significant change by becoming one of the only queen in a male-dominated society.
Okay, I was the greatest enlightened despot by being allied with France for my entire reign, which is like 50 years.
Well, I worked very hard on the development of science and hired people to help my people understand about technological advancements, and I helped modernize my nation to keep up with all the other European countries that were rising in power.
Hi, my name, Maria Teresa. I was the first, and the only female ruler of the Habsburg house, and I ruled for 40 years.
I was the King of France, and I was a great monarch because I started my rule from the age of 4 and continued ruling for the next 72 years, which was the longest rule in all of Europe.
I don't think I should be eliminated because I managed to legalize Catholic and Jewish presence in Sweden. I also enacted many reforms which focused on economic liberalism, social reform, and the banning of torture and capital punishment, which actually ended up working. I was also determined to strengthen my ideas of freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and the separation of the church and the state, which rewarded me with more political power.
I don't think I should be eliminated because I'm ranked amongst the 3 best historical figures in modern Germany, which includes Hitler and other important figures.
I think I should be saved because I improved the education system in Russia. I set up a new system and made it free of charge for all classes and even women.
It is time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Okay, are we ready? Okay, it's time to reveal who you have chosen as the weakest link. We do this one at a time, so around the room. Elizabeth?
Louis XIV.
Elizabeth first. Maria third.
Hold them up, please. Continue to hold them up. Louis the 14th.
Louis the 14th.
Louis the 14th. It didn't go very well, did it? One of the greatest absolute monarchs ever. The longest reigning ever. The man who made Versailles what it is. I'm afraid you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Charles III is going to make his point, all right? So Charles III is going to be first, and then we move to Peter the Great, okay? Are you all ready?
I'm the greatest absolute monarch because I was successful in colony fighting in America, which in conflict, especially in conflicts between Britain. So I gained Monarchs, West Florida and East Florida during the conflict.
So I'm most certainly the greatest monarch. As I helped education in Russia, I modernized the Russian alphabet, introduced the Julian calendar, and established the first Russian newspaper.
I think I should not be eliminated because I provided education for everyone in my empire, and I obliged people who between the ages 6 and 12 to go to school, and I also established public schools all over my empire.
Before my reign, Sweden and Russia had a few tensions. So when Russia was at war with Turkey, I took the advantage and declared war on Russia in 1788. However, Denmark decided to side with Russia and battle against Sweden. This worsened the situation. So I appealed to the clergies, burghers and peasants of the Riksdag, and in 1789 formed a new constitution that augmented my authority. I avoided complete disaster in the Russia-Swedish War by winning a naval fight at Svenskund in July 1790, which led to a peace treaty between Russia and Sweden.
I don't think I should be eliminated because I made Prussia one of the greatest states in Europe during my reign, expanding their territory and mostly defeating armies that are twice or 3 times bigger than mine. And I led success in the 7 Years' War and the War of Austria, leading to Prussia becoming so great.
I think I should be safe because I played a key role in the Russian Enlightenment. I corresponded with many great philosophers at the time. I sponsored many cultural projects, which can include arts and science. I sponsored museums to keep progress of our science and arts. I also engaged with women into making art and music.
I think I shouldn't be eliminated as I had a good reputation with all of the citizens, not only the higher class, and I cared also about the lower class and provided them with what they wanted.
Make it clear, write in capitals, I want to be able to see it this time. We'll start again the voting with Elizabeth.
This time with I believe Elizabeth I is the weakest link. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. You ready, Peter?
How many?
Okay, I'm ready.
Work it out.
So, during my reign, I increased Russia's economy by industrial growth. I gave the industrial development immense importance, with metallurgical and manufacturing industries were created on a large scale thanks to me, and industrialists were given privileges such as the right to buy peasant serfs for labour in their workshops to increase the amount of manufacturing during my reign.
During my reign, I defined the civil rights of my people, and I outlawed the torture and exiled witch burning and public burnings of people.
I was also a major contributor to performing arts. I founded the Swedish Academy in 1786 and greatly encouraged the study and performance of theatre in Sweden, as well as the Enlightenment and science. I also wrote plays myself, and in 1786 ended up collaborating with Johann Kellgren, and together we made the opera Gustav Vasa. For this cultural activity and political achievements, my reign was then officially known as the Gustavian.
I formed a judicial system that would be used throughout Prussia, keeping the laws in every part the same, which enforced keeping the whole of Prussia equal and organized.
So I rapidly expanded the Russian Empire through conquest. I defeated the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth, and it basically led a division between Poland. I gained territory with many other countries, but I gained the most out of Prussia and Austria. And in the end of my reign, the Russian Empire had grown larger than ever before.
So, through political manipulation, I restricted the actions of Great Britain in Central America.
Okay. Well, the end of the third round. Again, it's time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Make it, please, legible. I want to read these. I'm not so quick this time. We build it up a little bit, all right? Are you ready, Charles? You are? Hang on. Peter, ready, Mary? We're waiting for Frederick II. Okay, here we go. Hang on a second. Slower this time, please. Okay, let's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Catherine.
Charles III.
Charles III.
Charles III.
Charles III.
They are
Charles III, I'm afraid you are the weakest link. Goodbye. All right, so we're going to start, I think this time, is it with Marie-Therese or is it Peter? It's Marie-Therese who starts this time. Okay, Marie-Therese.
So during my reign, I created a professional army by maintaining a 7-year service for every male serf in the kingdom. And this resulted to 40 years of peace and a professional army of over 108,000 men.
I was an active promoter of the Swedish economy. My economic ideas and policies were greatly influenced by mercantilism. Many industries in Sweden were mostly founded for the diminishing of imports and the encouragement of exports. In the 1770s, I also invited Jewish immigrants to settle in Sweden and to start businesses in order to bring entrepreneurship and commerce into the country.
I improved nutrition of the general public by introducing potatoes and turnips to my population. This nutritional development aimed at increasing my unused land and products from colonization.
I think I should be safe because I established a free economic society. Free economic society was for the encouragement of agriculture. Catherine II was the biggest part of the establishment of the free economic society and masterminded behind its early activity. I provided libraries and buildings using this. Through this, I aim to modernize the country's agricultural system.
Before my reign, Russia was mainly stuck away from Europe and its affairs in military, economy, and relationships between different cultures. At the time, Russia was seen in low regard and needed desperate help. Luckily, I created alliances to challenge the dominance between the other nations, and with my success, changed Russia's status in the running and made it one of the major factors in European affairs.
Thank you. That is the end of that round of voting. It's time to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
Wait, Ethan, can you show me?
We have Peter the Great, Marie-Therese, Gustav, Frederick, and Catherine. Are we ready? Peter the Great, kick us off, please. Catherine.
Frederick II.
Peter the Great.
Right, we move on. We have Peter, Mary, Gustav, and Catherine.
Come on, Peter.
So I took measures to reform the administration and judicial procedures, and in 1774 I created an ordinance that proclaimed providing for the liberty of the press with certain limits. Sweden's national fences were raised to a great power scale, and our navy got so enlarged that it became the most formidable in Europe.
I successfully led Russia against the Ottoman Empire. I needed this to strengthen the major port. At the time, the Black Sea was controlled by the Ottoman Empire, and the conflicts ended on Russia having access to the Black Sea territories, and in the end I gained more land by doing this and trade.
Most countries started with the Gregorian calendar and then adapted to the Julian calendar. For Russia, it was the same. With a brief amount of time, it was like that. However, during my reign, I changed it to a more modernized calendar, which was also the reckoning era of Christianity. This was a major milestone in Russian history, with Christianity in Russia being by some views the largest religion in the country.
During my reign, I set up various government offices, such as postal, transport, and naval and notary, which were systems that were not in place before, which I in place to better the lives of my empires.
Thank you very much. I think that's everybody. So it's now, please, time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Are we ready? Peter. Gustav. Can you say the name as you do it? Do that again.
Gustav.
Catherine.
Peter the Great.
Bullying the cripple, are we?
Yes.
You are the weakest link. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We're down to 3. Now remember, whoever gets voted off this time will leave 2 people go head to head, okay? So I think it's Oliver's got to kick off this time.
There's so much.
Can I go?
You can.
Okay. At the time, the reason I should be saved is because at the time there was smallpox in Russia, and 20,000 people had died of smallpox, and I had opened specific hospitals to treat these people and take care of them.
So, because I implemented so many new systems into my empire, within my systems, my empire became independent and didn't have to have the support of the Holy Roman Empire, which supported a lot of the countries.
In 1782, I was the first head of state to recognize the United States due to the War of Independence from Great Britain. Our military forces, in the thousands, also joined the side of colonists with the help of the French Expedition Force. This contribution rewarded us with the establishment of the Swedish West Indies. The acquisition of Saint Barthélemy in 1784 also enabled us to receive great personal profits of the transatlantic slave trade.
Okay, thank you. It is now, please, time to vote off who you think is the weakest link. Say the names, please.
Catherine.
We have another type. Therefore, we will go for everybody else gets a right to vote for one of those 3. One of the 3. All 3 are still a name.
I see so many people.
It's nice that you're not playing tactically. Do you want some of this to be repeated?
Yeah.
Brief.
So, you saved people from smallpox by establishing hospitals. Jeremy, you helped United States.
And I established the Swedish West Indies.
Okay. And you.
And I put in systems which made my country independent and not have to rely on other countries such as the Holy Roman Empire.
Wait, what did Jeremy?
Okay, I need you.
Established
Swedish West
Sweden.
Indies, and I recognized the United States, and I helped the colonists and the French Expedition Force.
And subjectively voted out a cripple.
Thank you. Right, you're gonna have to vote. You're gonna have to vote, please. You have to hurry you. Okay, whoever you think is the weakest link. So of those, it's only those who didn't vote last time, please. This obviously will determine our 2 finalists. So let's start over here.
Gustav the second.
The second.
Shut up, Catherine. For that, I'm going to kick you up. Good.
Gustav, Catherine, Gustav.
Maria.
Okay, so Gustav, where are you, Gustav?
No.
You are the weakest link. Turn your card over.
Now we have to vote.
Okay, now everybody's back in the game in that our 2 remaining candidates, Marie-Therese and Catherine, will now give a 1-minute speech to the table. So I could spend the whole lesson on this, but Marie-Therese, you ready?
Do I have to go first?
Well, we're going in that order, aren't we?
Okay.
Because he went first last time. All right, you have 1 minute. I will stop you a minute if you run over, okay?
Okay. So I, Maria Theresa, have done a lot of accomplishment during my reign. So I provided, as I said, education for everyone in my empire, but I've also unified the currency, measurements, weight, customs, and taxes. I had 16 children, with whom of which was Joseph II and Marie Antoinette, and I raised themselves during my 40 years of reign. I also defined the rights. I outlawed torture, exiled witch burning, and public torture. I decreased the power of the nobles, and no other woman in her time was painted as often as I was. The Reformation that I led for Austria was well structured. I respected the rights of others and I accepted others and to respect my rights. I set up various government plans and I revitalized my empire that influenced the rest of Europe throughout the 19th century. And I gave my empire an efficient administrative system that allowed it to remain in great power.
Thank you very much. Hang on.
As Catherine the Great, I just think I should be saved because my reign lasted for 34 years and I'm the longest female to ever have ruled Russia. My period of time, I was part of the golden age of the Russian Empire, and I think I was given that. I think I was part of that because I, for example, changed or improved the education system in Russia, and also for women especially. I'd done a lot of things for women. I'd encouraged women to do much more, a lot more. For example, art and actually go to be able to go to school. I also I also established the Free Economic Society to encourage the agriculture that was already pretty poor in the country, and I was one of the main masterminds behind this early activity. I also built libraries, buildings, and hospitals.
Stop. Right, everybody, it's final vote. You all get a chance to vote one more time. It's time to vote off who you think is the weakest link.
Can we base it on communication skills as well?
You can base it on anything.
Yes.
Do you have to explain what we should?
No. All right, are we ready?
Catherine.
What's
Catherine.
Catherine.
Maria Theresa.
Catherine. Oi! Get done.
We have, therefore, a winner, Maria Theresa. You're not the weakest link, well done. And you go home with a prize of... There is no prize. Thank you very much.